Welcome to today's video. So we are working on our 2001 Ram 3500. It has been about 2 months since I really give this thing a good detail, and as you can see, I love my truck. I want it to look the best as it can. That's why I got the wheels and tires on there. Otherwise, we put in so much work into all the visuals. And when I got reached out to by a company called Shine Armor, one of their representatives reached out and said that they wanted to send me some product to try out on the truck. So that's what we're going to go ahead and do today. So the 3 products I sent out that we're going to go ahead and mess around with: the Nano Glass coating, a odor eliminator, and ceramic graphic spray. This is the one that I originally was interested in. This truck was spray painted, as you're aware, if you watched this a long time ago, so it's not actual factory paint except for the hood and the roof. And as such, the paint's just a little bit softer, so I wanted to get a ceramic coat on there to kind of help keep with dirt and everything. There's little tiny pores that like to collect dirt and whatnot, and this is going to fill those in, as well as give it like pretty much a permanent wax. So we're gonna go over this. However, there's a lot of steps you gotta do before you can go ahead and go straight to ceramic spray if you want a good result. The odor eliminator, this is a 20-year-old truck. It's got a nice, basically lingering diesel smell that's just always inside the cab. It's not so much diesel, but just old vehicle smell. If you get anything older than 20 years, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's just that smell that's there. And then we got a Nano Glass coating, and this is basically, so I'm gonna think of this as a more permanent Rain-X. So we're gonna go ahead and give it a shot. I'm gonna try Rain-X, this stuff, and do a comparison with just bare and see how it does. So those are the 3 products we're going to try out. However, before we jump into that, we got to do some processes to get to where we can actually apply a lot of this stuff. So that's going to go ahead and start out basically with a full detail. So I'm going to go and show you my kit that I use basically to detail my vehicles. I have the Ford GT500 right here, and pretty much the same thing on the truck. There's nothing too crazy. It's very budget friendly because that's what I got. And but it does work. I have not had any poor results or had paint scratches with these methods. So let me go ahead and do a quick rundown of what we're gonna do. This is the setup right here, and I have a couple of extra things I'll go over in a minute, but basically your generic wash right here, wash, wax, concentrate, doesn't really matter that much. What we're gonna wind up doing is the 2-bucket method. So I have my microfiber mitt right here. This is the soap bucket, rinse bucket, and this is just a paint thing, but it doesn't matter. Just something to kind of get the grit off of your item. Power washer is not required, but it does help, and I like to use it. And then there's the products. So glass cleaner is what I usually use, this stuff right here, but we're going to go ahead and hopefully after it's clean use this stuff instead, so we'll see how that works out. Wax and dry, just something cheap and easy, and it does last for about maybe a week or 2. Hopefully that'll be replaced with ceramic coat. And then the interior stuff is just kind of just a nice scent that's added in. Regular Windex, doesn't matter what you use, off-brand doesn't matter. This is what I use in my aluminum wheels, mag aluminum polish. I got this a couple years ago. I'm pretty sure they still make it, but I don't know for sure. But that's really helped out with getting these things brought back from being used semi-wheels. Bunch of microfibers, can never have enough. Clean them before you use them, inspect them to make sure there's no like debris and stuff stuck in the fibers that you don't want to scratch up your paint. Tire shine, I just kind of jump around between different brands, doesn't matter. And this stuff is amazing. Rapid adhesive remover. So it works out really well in removing tough like bug spots and tough to get out stuff. It has absolutely zero harm to the paint. I've used rubbing alcohol to try and rub out something on spray paint, and it does come off. It'll show up on your paper, on your towel as white. This stuff will not remove any of the paint, and it does an excellent job at removing basically adhesives, bugs, stuck, like, you know, just anything is stuck in there you can't get off. Especially on my truck, occasionally you'll have things like this. I don't know if you can see that super well. They're little runs that show up from, you know, little rust spots or stuff, and it does a really good job of pulling that out. So that's what we're going to go ahead and do the whole rundown. So this stuff is all going to be last. So we're going to start off with a basic wash, and I'm going to go ahead and knock that out. So my process for washing: rinse everything off, get everything wet, obviously fill the buckets, and then do a panel area at a time, and then yeah, pretty much that's it. So once that's done, we'll go ahead and do a clay bar. That's the other thing extra added here that I don't normally do. Do a clay bar, pull the truck inside, and then we're going to go ahead and add our ceramic coat. So that is the plan, and we'll see how this works out. All right, so I'm about to start off with the rinse. Got the power washer hooked up right here. And what we're doing basically is trying to remove as many loose contaminants as possible. The big thing about keeping your paint from getting super scratched is all this stuff right here. It's nice and loose. See all that? That all comes off with just water. So why put your soapy brush up there and basically rub that into the paint? So that's the whole purpose of doing a pre-spray down. Wet everything down. Trying to get some, let the dirt soak up some water. and do a slightly closer rinse before you go ahead and actually start, you know, washing your truck. So I'm gonna go wash the whole truck down, and then we'll come back when we start the next bit. Finish our initial rinse, so now it's time to go ahead and just soap this thing down. So big thing, try not to go in too big of a sections with something this dirty, because this thing just collects dirt. That's its whole purpose, and you don't want to go too crazy. Something like these lines right here, these are actually coming off okay, but sometimes these lines just don't come off underneath, and we'll see what it looks like when it's dry. And that's where that bug tar remover stuff comes into play. Stuff up here, some of it's all right, but if it doesn't come off, this is also the benefit of ceramic coat. It lets all that stuff come off way easier. And I only know this because the Mustang is ceramic coated, and it is way easier to take off than it is on this truck. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish washing up this whole thing. Pretty much the plan is do a panel at a time, or side at a time, depends what you're after. And from there, we go ahead, rinse it all off, see what we missed. All right, so generally my next step from here would be to go ahead and dry the truck off, use that bar and tar remover basically, or that bug remover, adhesive remover is what I'm thinking of, and get everything off of here and clean it up. But so we're doing this a little bit different because we're doing a clay bar next. So the truck does not have to be dry to use a clay bar. In fact, you want a little lubrication on there. All you're gonna do is take some of the detailer, spray it on, generally just wet it down. Take your clay. I've already kneaded this clay up pretty good. It comes in a square. It's kind of, and then you just kind of dust it back and forth. So we're gonna do a quick little spot, and you're going back and forth. It's gonna stick in some spots, and what you want is for it to be able to glide smoothly over all the paint. And the reason for this is we wanna make sure we go ahead and get as many contaminants as we can off, because we're gonna be doing a ceramic coat, and that stuff does not come off after the fact. It's supposed to be good for about 3 years. So you can see all that in there now. That's all crap that came off the truck. So next step, I'm gonna go ahead and do this off camera. I'm gonna do the whole thing top to bottom, and then we're gonna wash it one more time with soap and water to get all this clay bar residue off. And then we will be ready to pull it in the garage, take the Mustang out, and we'll be able to do our job. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the clay bar next. This is gonna take a while because there's obviously a lot of vehicle here. But pretty much once it gets full like this, you fold it over into itself, knead it a couple of times, and then you kind of continue on your way. But that'll help get off a lot of this little stuff that I can't get off with the power washer, like right in here. Well, actually, that's not a good example. Right here's an example. That didn't come off with the power washer. Take our clay, comes right off. And the reason we're doing this, like, once again, you can clay bar however often you want. I don't like clay barring that often, so the ceramic spray pretty much helps keep it clean and lets all this dirt come off way easier. Clay bar is finished, and it is looking real good. We got one last spot to do, and I'm using this rapid remover, kind of going around the truck, checking spots I didn't get to. But a prime example is some of this diesel soot. Take a little bit of this stuff, put it right around here, and this is even after a clay bar. But it takes off, you can kind of see that patch right there, it just takes off the stuff really well. There's no paint residue coming up, just taking off the dirt that's on the surface. So I don't really know how that stuff is made, but it is a really awesome product. So I love it. And then we're just gonna go ahead and clean up this whole under fender right here. This is probably from when I was towing. I had it on a slightly higher tune, and I guess it wasn't burning as cleanly as normal. It also under heavy load, but yeah, there you have it. No more weird residue. So that's that. If anyone wants to sponsor me for mud flaps or an exhaust tip, let me know. Definitely in the market. But that's just about that. Truck's pretty much done with that. So I think the next thing we're gonna go ahead and do, well, I don't know. I think we're gonna go ahead and do the, I guess we're gonna go to start the ceramic coat. If If you wanted to go one step further, you could always cut and polish your vehicle before doing so. However, this it's a work truck at the end of the day, so I'm not super worried about it. That car I did cut and polish before putting ceramic coat on. This one, I think it's good enough. I got a few dings and scratches here and there, so it's not perfect. Spray paint job, like I said. But let's go ahead and do the, I guess we'll go ahead and do the ceramic coat next. Okay, so for the directions of this stuff right here, Graphene Ceramic Spray. So a little different than what I'm used to, but it seems to do the same thing as normal ceramic coat. So we're gonna go ahead and use Spray Shine Armor Graphene Ceramic Spray into a microfiber towel. Wipe the product onto the paint, allowing the surface to be fully covered. Allow the product to sit for 1 to 2 minutes. Buff to a high shine with a microfiber towel. Allow 4 hours to cure before exposure to the elements. So rain, rocks, driving around in general. So I think what I'm gonna go ahead and do is actually pull this into the garage while we do that. This way there's no chance for stuff to come down and mess up anything. But that's what we're gonna go ahead and do next. I'm gonna go, this is gonna be a multi-day process, I think, is how it's gonna work and working out. So the ceramic coat today, and then tomorrow we'll work on doing the window stuff and the interior. So let's go ahead and knock out ceramic coat now. Truck's in the garage. Honestly, pretty impressive this thing actually fits in here, but it does, as you can see. So what we're gonna go ahead and do now, we're gonna go ahead and start our ceramic spray. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do, just to make sure we do not have anything on there, I'm gonna give it one last wipe down with a microfiber and some water. Just kind of quick mist it, wipe it down, and then from there, we're gonna go ahead and start our ceramic. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and start a timer here. This is just so I can glance back at it and have a reference of where I'm at. So we're gonna take our ceramic spray real quick and put it on our microfiber. I'm not gonna do this all with one hand, but for this one I am. All right, the whole point of this is just so it gets a real nice even application, and then we'll do our fender. So, a little bit of gloss on there going on, a little bit of the wetness from the ceramic coat. The whole thing covered, all the fender. This basically acts like a wax. You're not really gonna visibly see much of a difference. So now we wait our basically 2 minutes, and then we buff it off. All right, so it has been just about a minute. So I'm gonna go and start buffing this stuff off. So, buff it to a nice shine. You probably can't see anything, but I can tell where the ceramic coat streaks are pretty much, and then this is just gonna buff it off, kind of like a wax on, wax off type of deal. And usually you want better lighting if you can get it, but I'm working with what I got in here, and see how she comes out. You can definitely tell even before it's fully cured, like very, very stiff, very, very slick. So my finger almost wants to stick to this side, very slick on this side. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of the truck. We'll see what she feels like when it's done. Truck's looking absolutely killer. So it's not been 4 hours yet, so I'm gonna leave it in here overnight. I also decided to clean up and throw some stuff on the wheels just because the aluminum is polished, and it takes being aluminum, it's basically a raw metal, so it'll start to kind of deteriorate over time. So I want to throw a ceramic coat on there and see how it does. We'll find out. May have to repolish it, may not. Find out in the future. Went ahead and cleaned up the interior, went ahead and used the odor eliminator. It does have a nice mild scent to it. It's nothing too crazy, like if you were to Febreze bomb your car type of thing. It's pretty nice, but I do love how this interior came out. We're not totally done. So I've been trying to figure out a few ways to like frame up some of these switches and stuff, and I think I'm going to use fiberglass at the end. And then this thing that was done by somebody previous, but other than that, I mean, for a second gen, we did some good work in here getting this thing looking as good as it does. Headliner, dash, seat upholstery, and just kind of cleaning everything up. Floor mats just to help clean everything up there. But window tint, she's good to go. Absolutely mint. So that's going to do it for today. Tomorrow we're going to go ahead and continue on, see how everything cured, try the water beading off of the ceramic coat like everyone else does, just because, you know, it looks kind of cool. It's a visual of what it's doing. And yeah, that's really about it. So she's almost done, but definitely a lot easier when you're not polishing and buffing your car. This is significantly lower maintenance. To be honest, I actually really like how this whole thing sprays. Sprays really good, goes on your microfiber very easily, basically just like a wax on, wax off type of deal. And even if you don't buff it and you miss a spot or two, like it doesn't show up. The last ceramic coating I did was a little more ceramic coat, like to the traditional style, little tiny bottle. And it did show up a few spots that I missed in the corners of the GT500, which kind of sucks. But we'll see how long this stuff holds up. I'm very curious. It did bring back this black here, a little bit darker than what it was before. I tried it on here just to see, because I noticed that this is starting to fade a little bit. You can kind of tell really well here. And it did not seem to make a difference. So if your stuff's already faded, it's probably not going to do anything. Went ahead and threw it on the on these as well, the taillights. Mine as well, I figured why not. And it did look real nice, everything cleaned up well. See, it should be plastic safe. Most ceramic coatings are. So that's pretty much that. This is the next day, as you can see, and I can already tell this has got a very nice hydrophobic feel to it. Running your hand across here, it feels like it's been waxed, which is awesome. See how long it holds up, but it should be pretty solid. If it's ceramic coat, it should be good 2 to 3 years in general. Unfortunately, the only downside is it's so shiny, it actually exposes a lot more dents and issues that I have on the truck. So we'll just ignore those. This one actually came from the trailer. It freaking slammed into the side of it, but that is beside the point. Everything is looking real good, feels real slick, and truck's looking awesome. So definitely pretty happy with it. So what we're gonna go ahead and do now, I also did wind up doing the wheels. Not perfect, they probably need to repolish before I did it, but I wanted to see how they would keep clean and if it would keep it polished any longer, which would be awesome. Hopefully it should, I don't see why it wouldn't. So next we're gonna go ahead and do is the Nano Glass coat. So I did it a little bit on that back window and didn't really notice a difference, but it could have also been because there could have been some previous wax, the wax spray I used on there. So I just cleaned this with Windex. It's all that's been done to it, just Windex. I don't use anything on this windshield. So we're gonna go ahead and do half the windshield once again, and we'll see. I'm gonna do the passenger side and we'll compare it both side to side and see how it looks. All right, so that went on very easy. I'm not sure if I'm gonna put this in or not, but last night I totally put on, so I tried to do it on the side window and it came out very difficult. I'm pretty sure I may have actually put on the center, not the Nano Glass. I was pretty tired. So that may have been why it looked dumb, but let's go ahead and spray this down, see how she looks. Okay, you can see a difference. Check it out. That's actually pretty cool. I was not expecting to see a major difference. But no. So there you go. So hydrophobic and non-hydrophobic. So I'm gonna go ahead and dry that off, do the rest of the glass in the truck, and she'll be done. Let's go ahead while we're here and I'm thinking about it. Let's check out how the rest of this stuff. You can already see it bubbling up on the hood right there. Usually a pretty good sign that she's nice and hydrophobic. So there you go. And what you want, you can see how the water is up there. This is a very flat surface, so it's not totally gonna run off, and we're also on a hill. But you can see how it's beating up as much as it is. So it's definitely doing its job. And it's been well up after the 4 hours of curing. So the big thing that's supposed to be useful now is mainly what separates ceramic coat from wax. It should do this for the next couple of years. The Mustang, I did, different brand, but same thing. Ceramic coat I did a couple years ago. And we'll see how hydrophobic it is. No wax or anything, just comes right off like nothing there. So same general deal. And you can use the Shine Armor to basically go over your existing ceramic coat if you want. It's up to you. But I'm gonna go ahead and dry this off and do the rest of the glass, and then we'll finally be done with this thing. But it's looking good. Wheels, nice hydrophobic, awesome, awesome. Everything is working as it's supposed to, quite nice. All right, so we are pretty much finished up. Truck looks absolutely immaculate. It hasn't looked this good since it was freshly painted, to be honest. So everything's been coated. Interior's clean, exterior's clean. The engine bays, don't worry about it. So let's see now what we got. Yeah, she's looking really good. GT500 is looking outstanding. Does need a wash, a little dirty, but nothing too crazy. Anyway, so that's pretty much gonna do it for today's video. Very happy with the Shine Armor products. Everything seemed to work out really nice. And if you're wondering, yes, it was sent to me to try out, so I didn't really hunt them out, but they found me, and I'll definitely take it. I was gonna ceramic coat this truck anyway, so it just happened to work out that way. I actually bought the ceramic coat and it showed up a couple days ago, but decided to use this stuff right here. So, what are my thoughts? Glass coating, I think it works pretty well. We'll see how it holds up long term, but for right now, it applied very easily and worked quite nice. Graphene Ceramic Spray, this stuff seemed to do really good as a ceramic coat. I don't have any complaints about it. It has an interesting color to it. It's like a gray color, but it sprays out clear. Maybe that's supposed to be the graphite, I don't know. But it does work quite nice. Everything has a nice, real slick feel to it, almost like it's freshly waxed, which is what the idea is. Again, this should hold up for quite a while, so if it starts dying down, I will let you guys know. And then we have the odor eliminator stuff. So this one is not strong if it's a very mild odor eliminator. So I don't know exactly how well it's gonna work. I sprayed it in last night. I can barely tell there's a hint of it there now. So more of a neutral with a slight smell. So nothing crazy. If you're looking for something very mild, I'll recommend it. If you're looking for something that actually has a definitive smell to it, maybe look somewhere else. I don't know. But all three of these products applied very easily. Can't complain. Truck looks great. And I will see you guys in the next video. If you have any questions, leave them down below. And as always, have a great day. I'm gonna go ahead and park this thing, get the Mustang back in the garage where it belongs, and we'll be good to go. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.